Friends, countrymen, fellow degenerates, welcome back to this episode of Bets and Buds. We the Buds help you cash your bets. I'm Jason Smoking Token.
I'm Bobby Light.
Welcome back to this edition here. We are back full deep in swing here, heading on to the playoff action. Hopefully for these Blues. Let's go Blues. Hit their 10 straight. We got the Cardinals here in action. One day we're at 4-2 on the season.
Yep.
I like the way the offense is looking right now. Of course, we got March Madness going on. We're in the Final Four.
Yep.
Final Four action is going on as well. A little bit of NFL news, not a whole lot. Just got done with the owners meeting. New rules have been put in place. So we'll discuss some of that stuff for you. Just kind of keep you up on the sports news. Don't really have a lot of bets we're casting right now, outside of some projections that we got for you.
No, before we move on to the Blues, I actually tried UnderDog yesterday for the first time.
All right.
I downloaded it. I tried it for the first time. Ovechkin let me down. He went under on his shots and not over like I picked. But if you're just looking to make it, because they make it super easy.
Oh,
too.
yeah.
And you can make $1, $2, $3 bets.
Because it's like fantasy bets, basically.
It basically is
fantasy.
It's fantasy betting. You're just picking up or down.
It's a loophole. It's basically a loophole that they had around for the betting until we get this shit legal here.
With my experience, I got 2 out of the 3. You have the option to where you can actually bet on whether you get 2 out of the 3 or not, and it'll still cash. I went with all 3, so I missed out, but I'll try it again.
Guess what? You'll get some referral money because I'll dive into it this weekend.
I'm going to try it again this weekend.
Yeah,
tonight. I'm actually going to make a bet tonight.
Yeah, you'll get some referral money if when you send that link to me because I'm going to go ahead and dive into it for March Madness.
Yeah, like I said, I put $20 down. I ended up getting 50 in bonus bets.
Oh yeah, hell yeah!
It's more than worth it.
Yeah, might as well because when you first get on, they want to give you that money to make sure you keep putting your bets in and keep that shit going. So
all right, getting on to the Blues, winners of their 10th straight game last night against the Red Wings.
Magic last night.
Got it done. Do not get me wrong. Cam Talbot was a beast last night.
He was amazing last night. He was fucking, was it 34 out of 36 shots? Yes. 34 or 35 out of 37 shots.
It just happened to be the last few shots that got him.
Oh, but you know what? But here's what I like about that, Bobby. Jim Montgomery pulling the goalie at 3:22 because Bennington played a hell of a game too as well. Because the goal that he gave up, it was a wide open goal. It was a beautiful pass and setup because it was a rebound.
But they left Comfer all alone by himself. You can see Snuggerud crashing down on him, but it was too late.
Yeah, it was too late. But again, that was still. there was nothing Bennington could do with that. They actually played that very well. Bennington played a hell of a game. So you know what I mean. I like what I saw.
Talking about Bennington, he got the 3rd star for the month of March.
Nice.
All of hockey. So he went 8-2 with a 2.21 goals against average.
Nice.
He was dealing for the month. And Hofer, for that matter, went like 5-1.
Oh yes, so, I like the way it's looking going into the playoffs, brother. I do.
Thomas is on an actual heater right now. Yeah. In the last 10 games, this 10-game winning streak, he has 2 goals and 15 assists for 17 points.
And Kyrou getting his 32nd goal last night.
Kyrou got his 32nd.
With 23 fucking seconds left in the game.
23 seconds left.
Oh, man.
And it wasn't the prettiest of goals.
You know what? It was a change-up because you saw it miss the stick a little bit. It was like almost a knuckleball.
And it kind of threw Talbot off, and it just leaked under the stick there.
But when you got a goalie that's focused and that locked in, that's almost the type of goal you need.
Yeah.
And what I like from what we haven't seen from Blues teams in past is they're putting the puck on net.
They are.
And instead of doing these extra passes, trying to find the perfect shot to get in, put the puck on net and see what happens, man. That's what you got to do.
You're never going to score if you don't shoot.
Yeah, you try to make that extra pass a lot of times to get you the turnovers, everything else. So I like what I saw last night.
So since the Four Nations break, they're actually the best team in the NHL. 16-2-1, the most points, most wins, the best goals for average, 3.84
nice
across the 19 games, and 3rd in goals against at 2.00 straight up.
Let's go Blues.
They've moved up into the 7th spot in the wild card. They still play the Avalanche coming up. There's an outside shot because the Avalanche have lost 2 in a row. So if they go into a little tiny skid here and the Blues keep on winning, it could happen for us.
Yeah,
we got 6 games remaining. Pittsburgh, Colorado, then we get Winnipeg, which could potentially be our first-round matchup if we fade out and end up in that A spot.
And I think I heard today, Vancouver has to go, if the Blues went 4-3 in their last 7 games, Vancouver would have to go 7-1 in order to that would be like in order to overtake
lost
them.
Again the other
and
night,
I think Calgary, I can't remember what Calgary had to go, but it was almost something very similar. Like they had to go 6-2 or 5-3, somewhere in that range, and the Blues would have to totally shit the bed in order to be overtaken.
With 6 games remaining, you've got really 2 really tough games here. 3, because you've got Colorado, Winnipeg, and Edmonton back to back.
You know what I think?
Play Pittsburgh. So.
At the end of the day, though, they're playing playoff hockey now.
They are.
And that's what you like when they go to playoffs, because that's the beauty of hockey. When you're going into the playoffs, when you're already playing playoff hockey before that shit starts, because that's where the Blues used to falter in years past. When they were cruising to the President's Cup, and they started just kind of, all of a sudden they get bounced in the first round. They get bounced in the first round. So, I like where we go. Let's go Blues.
Yes, let's go Blues. All right.
What do you think about Snuggeroo last night in his debut?
He was fine. Like Jim Montgomery was on the radio today, and he said, that was only the second game he's played in like 3 weeks.
Right.
So I mean,
you can see like
he said he looked like an NHLer. He had 2 shots on goal. He was on the goal or was on the ice for the goal given up, and you can see him crashing down just a little too late. Yeah, but I mean that's going to happen.
I mean you can see he moves like an NHL player, looks like an NHL player, but you can see some of the nerves that were there. But obviously because that's his first NHL game.
The first game you've played. Well, I guess since last week because Minnesota lost last week in the first round of the NCAA.
All right, yeah. I mean, and Balduke, he had some nice plays and looked good there too as well. So I like the mixture between the veterans and the young players that they're injecting in the lineup right now.
Right now, I mean, if you had to talk, because the Blues really didn't make any kind of trades at the deadline, but they made a trade back in November for Cam Fowler. And
that was the game winner last night, man. Oh, that was a beautiful goal last night.
He is on a heater right now. In his last 10 games, he's got 12 points.
Oh, yeah. So. I mean, that was a beautiful goll last night for the game winner. That backhand. Faked the forehand shot. They moved it to the backhand. That was a beautiful game.
Got it up high,
went top
too,
shelf.
right
hit that top shelf. I mean, that's the type of, when you had a goalie that's been playing that hot, that's the type of goal you need. Yep. So that was awesome. Awesome performance.
All right. Moving on to the Cardinals. So, Cardinals did some big things today.
Yes, they did. After losing the first 2 games against the Angels, they ended up coming back and winning 12-5 today. Ivan Herrera was the first catcher in Cardinals history to hit 3 home runs in a game.
I mean, I knew Molina had never done it, but I thought like maybe Darryl Porter or somebody like that.
That 3 home runs by a catcher, though, man. I mean, that's because the Cardinals never really had a prolific catcher hitting wise.
No.
They always were good with defensive catchers. I mean, when you think back to what's his name? Tom Pagnozzi
and Pena, Tony Pena,
Mike Matheny, but like none of those guys were like big, like. And we're going to hit the ball.
You're right. Molina actually was a terrible hitter when he first came up.
Yeah, when he first came up, and he became a good solid, but it was more of a contact hitter than it was.
I think the most home runs he ever hit was like 24.
Hitting big jacks. Mason Wynn got off the snide now. He had 2 hits today.
Contreras got off the snide as well. He also had 2 hits.
And so that's what I like about this team, man, is that they got all these guys are kind of, I mean, they're playing a cohesive unit team. Just from the last 2 years, they didn't seem like they had a team feel. There was no team chemistry, and I feel like there's some team chemistry with this team right now. And so, like, you kind of feel that going forward in this season. I hope it carries over. So they're 4-2 to start the season off right now, and they're getting contributions from everybody.
They are.
Jordan Walker had 2 hits.
6 for 14. He had another 2 hits today.
Yeah, another 2 hits today.
Newt Barr 8 for 19 coming into today's game.
If he stays healthy, man, Lars is nice. He has great plate discipline. I mean, I think I like what I'm seeing right now.
Well, coming into today's game, he had a .560 on base percentage.
Didn't Nolan have two more hits again today?
I'm pretty sure everybody got a hit today except for Brendan Donovan.
Yeah, Brendan Donovan was the only one who went 0 for 5, but I think to have Nolan go 2 for 5 today as well too. I mean, look, I like the way this mixture between the veterans and the rookies not rookies, but young players.
It's really, especially because Contreras started out 0 for 19, Win 0 for 18, and for them 2 guys to get hits, man, maybe they'll take all.
Oh yeah, I mean, and that's baseball too. I mean, you got that balance.
You're going to go in stretches.
You're guys going to get lulls, guys going to get highs, guys going to get lulls, guys going to get highs. But I mean, I like overall. I mean, I just think the balance of the lineup looks very, very good. Much better, I think, than anybody expected. Because I mean, from what we've seen the last couple of years, has been very pessimistic.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
And I think we got a lot of things to be optimistic about going forward during this season.
A lot of a man on third base, no outs, and that run doesn't come home.
I mean, and they're doing good with 2 strikes out. I mean, with 2 strikes up at bat. I mean, so that's been a big, huge aspect for them this year and this season. So
the only thing I really don't like so far, I don't like that bullpen at all. I don't like Fernandez.
I mean, but here's the thing with the bullpen though. I like Steven Matz. As your long reliever.
Oh yeah, he's been good
because he actually got a 4-inning save the other night. I mean, I like Steven Matz coming out of the bullpen. Like, see what happens going forward from there. I mean, as far as everybody else, Helsley still still seems like he's doing okay there.
He's fine.
So, you could always plug and play the pieces with the bullpen and find some of those arms.
King's been fine. It's everybody else has been pretty bad. It really shows up in your extra inning losses.
Yeah.
You had 2 back-to-back extra inning losses where the bullpen just couldn't get it out.
Right. Yeah. That's going to happen in baseball at times, especially for the long stretch of the 162 game season. So, I'm okay with what I saw so far going forward. I feel like we have a chance to be contending, especially with the Brewers starting out slow. The Cubs were okay. They're kind of middling right now. The Brewers, watch out for Ellie De La Cruz with his torpedo bat because he seems to have found
Cardinals
something with
are in
that.
first place, 4-2 right now.
Yeah, exactly. So, that's all. You keep it going, keep those wins going. Don't go through long losing streaks, and I think you'll be okay.
I don't think anybody would have said that.
Yeah, exactly.
6 days into the season,
don't go through long losing streaks, and we got to go up there to get Boston now coming up for the next series, first series on the road, and just see what we can do up in Fenway.
All right.
So. All right, we got the March Madness time here now. We're down to our Final Four with all number 1 seeds. This is where they talk about going chalk here. This is where when you go talk about going chalk, that means all your top seeds are still in play. So we've got Auburn, we've got Houston, we got Florida, and we got Duke. So we got the matchups of Duke and Houston facing off against each other. We also have Florida versus Auburn, so 2 SEC matchups there. So we're going to have an SEC team in the final. Yeah, we're going to have an SEC team in the final. Duke is a wagon. I will tell you that right now. I don't like the Duke Blue Devils, never have in my life, but they are right now, they look tough. Cooper Flagg is the truth. He is the absolute truth. And then I can't remember the big man's name that they have on there too as well, but there are actually 2 kids that are on that roster that should be high school seniors this year, but actually are college freshmen because they reclassify and look like studs, like they look like grown men amongst boys already. So Duke, they're long, they play great defense. I think they're going to be a problem for Houston. I think they're going to be a huge problem for Houston going forward.
Oh yeah, I've got Duke winning that.
Yeah, I think Duke's going to win that game. I just feel like there's going to be a problem for Houston. Can't put it past Kelvin Sampson though. He's been a long time coach. Has been doing things very well.
A wily veteran.
Yeah, he is. He's a wily veteran coach. He's going to have those boys ready to play ball. But Duke just looks very, very tough. And
they do.
And in Auburn and Florida, Auburn has really turned it around. They were kind of struggling a little bit going into the tournament, barely squeaked by those couple of early rounds, but they still are a good team, and they actually look good in their last performance in their last game against Michigan. So, and for me, I'm going to take Florida in that game going on.
I have Florida down on my sheet. Yeah, I've always said
you and I both said that was
Florida
our national
and Duke
champion.
from the beginning.
Yeah, so Florida and Duke in the national championship. I think it's going to be a hell of a game on Monday night. I hope that's what we get. I really hope that's what we get.
I hope so, too.
That'll be one hell of a run. It really will.
I actually haven't. Who made it on the women's side?
So the women's side, we have South Carolina. South Carolina is going to be playing.
I didn't.
All right. So I know you. So UCLA is playing UConn.
Okay.
UCLA is playing UConn. I know that one. So UCLA is the number 1 seed. UConn is the number 2 seed on the opposite side of the bracket there. South Carolina, I believe, is playing. I think they're playing Duke.
Are they playing Duke?
I believe they're playing Duke.
Women and men are in the final four.
Let me double check that, but I'm pretty sure. While you go through and cover that, I'm pretty sure. From the women's side, I thought it was South Carolina.
And USC lost when that girl blew her knee out, right?
Yeah, actually, it might be SC in that. Let me take that back.
Right.
Yeah, it might be South Carolina and SC actually. Let me take that back. So before I misspeak on that one.
Yeah, I lost 2 of my Final Four participants last week. I really thought Tennessee could get it done, but they didn't. Michigan State never really had a chance. They just don't run enough, like a high-powered offense enough.
No, they don't. They honestly don't. So we got you. So no, I'm sorry. So it's Texas.
Oh, Texas and South Carolina.
So Texas actually, I think bumped off USC. I believe, and it's South Carolina is in that one there. So, or no, I'm sorry, it was UConn that bumped off USC because that was supposed to be the matchup. Juju and Juju was supposed to face off. Yeah,
she blew her knee out.
Yeah, she blew her knee out there. So we got UConn versus UCLA. We got Texas versus South Carolina. So South Carolina has been in the conversation multiple times through these last couple of years. So
on the women's side, it's also going to be an SEC.
Oh, yeah, SEC. Yeah, it's going to definitely be SEC participant. SEC is starting to run basketball and football because they got all the money down there. NIL shows you know what? The money talks and the bullshit walks.
Yep.
So Texas versus South Carolina, UConn versus UCLA. Paige Becker, she's a stud. She's locking it out. The UCLA, they got a big girl down low there. I can't remember her name right off the top of my head right now. That's bad broadcasting by me. But I would say that, that's UConn versus UCLA. That's going to be a tough game, tough matchup. But UConn has the length down low to be able to hopefully neutralize her.
Okay.
And Paige Becker, as I said, she had the 40-point game last game there. Remember, she has the ability to take over like very few girls do in college basketball.
How come she doesn't get as much pub as Caitlin Clark?
Because she didn't break the all-time scoring record. She went through some injuries early in her career.
Yeah, she is coming off a knee.
Yeah, she went through some injuries early in her career. She blew out her knee, pretty much similar to what Juju Watkins went through.
Okay.
So and then she came back off of that. Last year they got bumped off early. I mean, not early, but before getting to the finals. And so that was a tough for her to overcome that.
So she just hadn't had a good run.
So her because the thing is, when you go to UConn, you have to win national championships with UConn. They don't care about you making it to the Final Four at UConn. It's one of those. They have that pedigree of it's like Duke. You can go to the Final Four, but who cares unless you win a national championship?
There before.
So that's going to be a tough one there. But but everybody has known who Paige Beckers was in the basketball world. So she was like 13 years old.
Okay.
You can go back and you YouTube Paige Beckers as an 8th grader. There is at least 30 minutes of video of this girl balling out of this world. So we'll see what goes on and what happens there. But it's exciting time for college basketball. It
is, but it's almost over.
Yeah, it's almost over there. And then we got the NBA playoffs are going to be jumping off here soon.
NHL a couple weeks.
Great games last night. But Stephen Curry hit 52 points last night.
52 and Jokic 61.
61 in the losing effort as Russell Westbrook had a bad shot miss and then a bad foul towards the end of the game. Gave a guy 3 free throws and he ended up knocking those down and they ended up losing the game. Yeah, Jokic was at 61-point triple-double.
That's a hard.
That's crazy. Jokic is insane. It's going to be an exciting basketball playoffs in for the NBA too as well as things start to pick up there. So that's, we got some exciting time in sports.
We do. All right, the NFL coming off their owners meeting, spring owners meeting.
Yes, we had the owners meetings, so we had some rule changes that got implemented. So first one off that I could jump off the top of my head was the kickoff was revised. So
I didn't really read into the whole thing.
So basically what it essentially is what they said they were going to do initially that they didn't do when they brought the kickoff. If you went into a touchback, it was going to get brought to the 30.
Right.
Now they moved it to the 35.
Okay.
Yeah, so now they moved it to the 35. And so that's going to basically influence a lot of people to not necessarily boot the ball out of the end zone. Because going to the 35, now 2 first downs, and you're pretty much in field goal range now with this day and age with your kickers. The other thing, sticking with the kicking game, they had so now the kickers, they used to have what was called the K-ball. And before before games, you had 30 minutes of supervised. Your equipment manager got to basically scuff up a ball.
Okay.
Basically about 12 balls for kicking balls before the game. So now what they have now is the kickers can actually use these balls in practice, have these balls, and as long as they get basically inspected by the officials,
they can use them in
the game. So now you can basically rough up, scuff up, buff these balls to the kicker's liking now, as opposed to helping your equipment manager is awesome as hell for 30 minutes to water it down, scrub it up, scuff it up, the whole nine.
Okay.
The whole nine. So now the kicking balls now are actually going to be to the kicker's liking going into the game a lot more than what it been.
70-yarder.
Yeah, we might see some 70-yarders now coming forward a lot more frequently. Because last year we saw how well the kicking game improved.
Right.
With a lot of 55, 60-yarders, they were almost automatics last year.
Anymore.
Now, so you start getting these guys with balls that they actually like to kick, that they know they got a good feel for it. That's going to be tough and pretty amazing.
Yeah, when we were growing up, a 50-yard field goal, that was.
That was okay. You had back then, you had about maybe 7 to 8 kickers that was automatic.
Pull it off.
You had Gary Anderson, Morton Anderson.
Right.
You had those type of guys that were it was automatic that they were going to be able to hit that.
Scott Norwood.
Yeah, Scott. No. Scott Norwood. The Bills would have had a Super Bowl if it was Scott Norwood. But even I think Nick Lowry, who was he was a kicker for the Chiefs too back in the day. There was a handful of kickers that were actually that solid that could actually knock those field goals through. Even your punts. Your punts are going to be insane right now too, as well. As far as you're going to see some bombs.
Some absolute
bombs now with the way these punters train now to get their legs strong enough to be able to boot these things out of the stadium. So that's going to be interesting there. The other rule I saw that it was some significant rule change. So the tush push, that was probably the most controversial of them all.
And they delayed it, right?
They delayed it until May. They're going to table it and we'll go through because they had 16 out of 16 bets. It was even, not bets, but votes. Even split.
Down the middle,
it was split down the middle. Now, so what has to have happened in order for that bet to get denied or basically shut down as far as the tush push being eliminated, there has to be 8 more votes have to be swung.
Oh, okay.
Because it can't. It's not
super majority.
It's not just winning. You have to win by yes. I mean, there has to be 8 more bets have to be swung in order for that the tush push to be eliminated. There.
I don't think it will be eliminated.
I don't think it will. My personal opinion, I think it should. And the only reason why is because I grew up with the rule that it was aiding and abetting the pile. Like you could not aid the pile when I grew up playing football. Then all of a sudden, and for me, where I contributed to, I go back to the Notre Dame USC game. I think we talked about this on the show before. They like when the Bush push when Notre Dame played USC, and they were going down. They were on the goal line, and Reggie Bush pushed Matt Leinart over the goal line into the end zone, and they let that go and let it be a touchdown. They didn't call it. It was a big thing because USC were the big dogs and a big high-profile team. Notre Dame wasn't really there at that point as a program. They were in name, but not as a program. And so they kind of let that go. And from that point on, the rest of football, all of a sudden, that was allowed to happen. That was allowed to have happen. So for me, I don't like it because of that fact. Because, I mean, if you watch a couple of those plays, I mean, literally, Jalen Hurts is getting ushered.
Oh, yeah, no, he's probably not doing much.
I mean, he's doing a lot.
His feet.
He's doing a lot because, I mean, the dude squats 600 pounds. So I'm not going to take it away from him because it's not like everybody in the league can do it.
Right.
But
no, because we've seen that in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, it's not
the
like
Bills failed.
Yeah, I mean,
even with Josh Allen.
And the Bills had a lot of high success for it. Actually, like they said last year, the Bills actually hit that at 88% of the time, and the Eagles only hit it at 82% of the time last year. Okay. So, I mean, but the Bills actually, Sean McDermott and the Bills organization, they actually voted against it being illegal play. Right. So, I mean, we'll see how that goes, as far as that going forward. I know the defensive illegal contact and defensive holding not being an automatic first down, that got voted down, which everybody knew that was going to happen because, they're not going to give anything in favor of the defense. Right. They want that in the offense. I'm trying to think of what other rule was passed. I think there was some other little things that were like kind of front office moves. I think there was like free agency. Like when you can go in, you could actually during the tampering period talk. You could actually talk to at least up to like 5 of the players coming into it.
Okay.
Yeah, because before in the past you could tampering wise agree to sign a guy, but you couldn't talk to him. You couldn't bring him into your organization. You couldn't.
It was always through the agent.
Yeah, it was like intermediary. Yeah, it was through the agent. It wasn't like the organization got to actually know the player. They just kind of brought him in that way. So those was a lot of the big things from the owners' meeting takeaways. So.
The only other thing is we're going to get a triple header for Christmas.
Oh yeah.
That triple header it's going to be a staple from here on out.
Oh yeah.
Triple headers on Christmas.
Christmas is the NFL. Sorry NBA, move to Christmas Eve. That's what I would say. Move to Christmas Eve, NBA, and be home with your family on Christmas Day because that day is gone for you now going forward.
And the only 2 other things that I wrote down here is Haslam has actually come out and they asked him about the Watson contract, and he said, I quote, a big swing and miss.
Yeah, he took full blame and responsibility for that. But everybody pretty much knew that. That's why Stefanski and what's his name, Andrew Berry, still had their job as a GM and a coach because he knew that was pretty much on him in regards to that. The other thing I do remember now too, as far as was the overtime rule. So the overtime rule is basically
where they're both going to get possession.
Yeah, they both get possession. So the overtime rule in the regular season is going to pretty much be the same as it is in the playoffs. Right. So that's pretty much like the overall summary of what has kind of wrapped up during the owners' meeting there. Besides those guys standing down in Florida getting drunk with each other and laughing.
And the last thing is I think Jerry might have been drunk when he did that interview the other day. It's just Jerry Jones being Jerry Jones.
He doesn't even have to be drunk, man. Jerry's just Jerry. And I mean, again, like we talked about before, the Cowboys aren't going to be relevant again until Jerry dies. When you sit there and you say that, like, okay, David Mulligeta, who negotiated the Deshaun Watson contract, who is also Myles Garrett's agent, who is Micah Parsons' agent, and he says their agent is irrelevant. I negotiated with Emmitt Smith. I negotiated with Deion Sanders. Well, damn, Jerry, that was 40 years ago, man. Like, what are we talking about? This is not the NFL day and age of that anymore. It's like, what are we even talking about? But again, we all know as Cowboy fans, we are limited to what we're going to see, what we're going to experience, and how we're going to be able to enjoy watching our team until Jerry dies.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Once Stephen Jones, because Stephen Jones doesn't seem like he has the personality to want to be, like he's never put himself in the forefront in any capacity where he's just going to run the team as a true NFL organization. Until that happens, we're going to deal with what we're going to deal with Jerry, man. Because, I mean, like, Jerry could have got ahead of the curve with this. Because, I mean, what people don't understand, why would Micah Parsons rush to get the contract?
Because people are signing bigger deals all the time around
exactly.
him, so just hold it
Exactly. So, so why would he sign before T.J. Watt? Because is T.J. Watt not going to get, like, just as much, if not more than Myles Garrett? Yeah. So then when Micah Parsons goes to the negotiating table, Jerry's going to pay more. And he knows he's going to pay more. He even said it. He's like, I know I'll pay more, but that's okay. I just want to make sure it's right. What the hell else do you need to know is right, man? You want to keep this dude on your team. He's a big face of your franchise. What else do you need to know is right? So unless you pull off a Herschel Walker deal where you got a coach like Jimmy Johnson to come in and pull all these moves and you get 8 first-round picks for Micah Parsons, it's like, unless you do that, I mean, there's no point. Like, just give the dude his money and move on. Like, that's where he hamstrung the organization last year with Dak Prescott. And then C.D. Lamb, both of those contracts.
It's going to happen again this year.
It's going to happen again. I mean, you know it, I know it, and that's a long-suffering part of being a Cowboy fan.
It is, unfortunately.
Yeah, so, that's what
all right,
it is.
That's all I got, brother.
Yep, that is it. So let's go ahead and make sure we keep enjoying the rest of these sports as they kind of pop off here. We got the Masters going to be coming up next week, so maybe talk a little bit of golf next week.
We'll talk some golf next week.
We'll talk a little golf next week as the Masters comes up. And then we got to keep on going up. I know the Kentucky Derby is coming up too as well. So we're getting that horse racing season. So we'll kind of touch on some of those things.
Hey, Dave, who won last week in MotoGP?
Bagnaia,
that's what I thought.
Who?
Oh, baby, Marquez crashed. He was 2 seconds ahead of everybody.
You might as well be speaking Chinese to me. All right. Well, make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button and add to the comment section. We'll keep bringing that content to you. I'm Jason Smoking Token.
I'm Bobby Light.
We'll see you guys next week.
Peace.